What's good, y'all? I've got some awesome buffs from my boy Dustox in the form of many new buffed and changed moves, obviously some much needed stat boosts, and two incredible new abilities, which you can switch between with an infinite use ability capsule. But before I get into anything more, I want to have a really important disclaimer for anybody who's new here to check out the Google Sheet linked right down below in the description. Not only can you look at all the other Pokemon buffs and changes in this hack, of which there are many, pretty much every single Pokemon is massively reworked, you can also check out all of the massively reworked move buffs and changes, of which there are 600 plus of them. There are also 130 new moves and all types of other really important things that you should check out on this Google Sheet. But most importantly, this move sheet, as you can see on screen, contains all these different categories that you can automatically navigate to by clicking on them, or you can just scroll and read, which is what I would recommend if you're completely new, or you can Control+F and look for specific moves if that is something you are interested in. If this type of thing is interesting to you, make sure you subscribe to the channel and leave a like, leave a comment, all that fun stuff. But with that being said, Dustox has some beautiful new moves to abuse with Prankster, which is a very fitting ability for them. It also helps them stand apart from the other bug and poison types in the hack, with the most comparable ones being Venomoth and Scolipede. Scolipede having Intimidate and Speed Boost and having immense bulk and being super good for utility, not just offense anymore. Obviously, he's still an offensive monster, but that's awesome for Scolipede. And then the other one I would compare it to them would be Venomoth, which is shares Levitate, which is fine because it's Levitate, and you're only using Levitate when you need it. So in this ROM hack, like I said, you have that infinite usability capsule. So for most boss fights, you'd run Prankster. When you see that the opponent has a strong ground type attack that you need to switch in on or counter, you run Levitate. It's really useful because of that, even if you're only using it about 20% of the time, say, even less maybe, but it's still a really good option. And it also, I think it is fitting. So, well, I don't think it is. I know it's fitting. But back with the Venomoth comparison, Venomoth is a lot more offensively oriented with tinted lens and much higher speed and special attack, but it's a lot less bulky. So that's the only real comparison. Beedrill is like, completely physically, it still has defensive utility, but it's not a whole lot. And then, yeah, Dustox is by far the most support-oriented of the bug and poison types. Parasect, I guess, is also comparable with Regenerator and Tough Claws, and also is super tanky, but Dustox is by far the most support/utility of all of them. And that's awesome. So Dustox has awesome new moves in the form of Strength Sap, Lunar Dance, Mesmerize, all these moves. So Strength Sap is Strength Sap. I'm sure you probably know what that does. You have Prankster Sticky Webs as well, Prankster Parting Shot, Prankster Dual Screens, Prankster Mesmerize. Mesmerize being essentially Spore. It's like a psychic type version of Spore. It will fail on a ghost type, but otherwise it's very free. Sleep in this hack is reworked to always last for 2 turns. So essentially you click Mesmerize, you Parting Shot out. On that 3rd turn, whatever you send in would wake up. So it's not as broken as you might think, but you can abuse it to set up yourself if you wanted. Like Prankster Mesmerize, you put them to sleep, and then you can press Nasty Plot, or you can use a utility move like Free Webs. Maybe you want to get a guaranteed Sticky Web up or something. Or if the Focus Sash, you could actually really try to get a sweep going, but it's a bit harder. It's harder to do than you'll think, although a Bug Poison type does resist, Bug, which First Impression being one of the most common priority moves in the game. And, it's not terrible. You could try to get a Dustox sweep going. With Lunar Dance late game, you totally could. Lunar Dance gives you +1 special attack, special defense, and speed. So Lunar Dance functions like Quiver Dance used to, while Quiver Dance is just Special Dragon Dance now. Yeah, other stuff like Prankster Toxic Spikes, and even stuff like Stun Spore and Poison Powder for earlier in the game. It's just such an awesome toolkit. Scary Face, Prankster Toxic and Venom Drips. Scary Face drops attack now, so it's attack and then -2 speed as well. It has good coverage, solid coverage. Electric Ice with Icy Wind and Electric Web for certain niche situations with Charge Beam as well. But the main useful coverage moves are stuff like Psychic, Energy Ball, Dark Pulse, Focus Blast late game. There's a couple more I'm missing. Air Slash, Hurricane, Night Daze, and Moonblast. Yeah, Moonblast, what I was thinking of, and Dazzling Gleam. So those are all really nice coverage options if you do want to try to get a Dustox sweep going. But of course, that utility support stuff is incredible with Prankster Strength Sap, and even stuff like Barrier is awesome, or Calm Mind, or both even. Barrier and Calm Mind. Barrier giving you +2 defense, Calm Mind giving you you all know what Calm Mind does. So that's really cool. Z Powder will give you +1 to all your stats. Also, something I didn't mention yet, but hopefully you can see on screen, is that Black Sludge is massively buffed in this hack. Poison is my favorite typing. That's the main reason why I buffed Black Sludge. I just really like Poison, and I like them being really, really strong. So also, honestly, the more defensive counterplay in this hack, the better, especially when there's all types of crazy strong Pokemon running around. It's nice to have defensive stuff like, crazy double Black Sludge or double Leftovers. So yeah, Black Sludge heals you by double that Leftovers does. Really, really good with, Prankster Strength Sap on or Prankster Roost for earlier in the game. Yeah, it's just really simple buffs and changes. Lunar Dance, very strong setup move. Web's great. It's just straightforward but fitting and awesome. Cascoon, I'll actually have to remove the bolding. Cascoon was previously Bug and Poison just because I felt like it, but I ended up removing it to keep the type changes an even number because I added a new type change, which I'll be getting into soon as one of the re-recorded videos for Hoenn. We'll have a new type change coming up. But yeah, overall, very simple. I mean, even Prankster Sleep Powder for earlier in the game was good. It's strong, like 95 special attack isn't bad, right? And its bulk is solid. And the beautiful thing with Prankster is you don't have to run speed investment. So you can run max HP and turn your, at first maybe mediocre looking bulk on the physical side into really good bulk, max HP, max defense. Bug and Poison also has great defensive traits. You don't have to worry about Stealth Rock in this hack, so in general, Bug and Poison just has awesome resistances. It 4 times resists Fighting and Grass, and then it resists Fairy and Bug and Poison. So those are really, really good defensive traits to have, especially the 4 times resist. So that's awesome for Dustox. Yep, Cascoon's great for earlier in the game. Just simple abilities. Sturdy is nice for trainer fights and stuff. It's no longer weak to Psychic as a Poison type, so it helps it for Dulse versus Dulse. It's not weak to Dulse anymore, but it still gets Poison moves like Sludge Fling and Baneful Bunker and Toxic Thread and all that stuff. As a whole, super solid, simple, good Pokemon. It will evolve in time for Hala as well, so this is like probably in the top like 20% of Pokemon for Hala. Although honestly, in Heart Nuzlocke, like you can make anything work if you're just smart about it. But yes, this would be very good for that point in the game. And it's great throughout the game. I mean, it's incredible up until the very end of the game. Its bulk is great. The Black Sludge helps a lot as well. So even if you do switch in and take a lot of damage, you can always, protect. And now you're healed all the way. And it's just, God, it's got so many awesome things. It's a beautiful support Pokemon. And it's also decent offensively as well, solid. So yeah, I mean, it didn't even cover Prankster Taunt. There's so much stuff. So yeah, just look on screen. You can check out what all these moves do now in the description below, because I don't think I covered every single little move option they have, but there's a lot of them. Check them out in the description. I appreciate you for listening this far into the video. Shout out to you. I guess since I have a tiny bit of time left, I will elaborate more on the reason I chose Prankster. Honestly, I just think it fits their appearance, and I wanted to make them not bad compared to the other Bug and Poison types, because there wasn't too many abilities I could think of. I can't give them Tinted Lens, obviously, right? So this is like the main good ability that I could give them that fits vaguely enough, and then also makes them really, really good useful. So yeah, thank you so much for listening. I'll be back for more buffs and changes coming up. Peace, y'all.